Welcome to the Scenic Route with Victoria Steward.
Hey.
I am going to be talking in these episodes about women who have taken kind of like the long way home, the scenic route, and have loved it. I'm Victoria Steward, a financial empowerment coach and a recovering corporate engineer. Every week, I'm here with conversations about the pivots, detours, and unexpected turns that led somewhere better than that straight line career idea that we have all had ever could have. Solo episodes where we talk about money, identity, and what it actually takes to build a life that feels as good as it looks, mixed with interviews with coaches and entrepreneurs who have inspired me and who'll tell you exactly what snapped them out of their habitual routines and what they found on the other side. If you're a high achieving woman who started to wonder if there's a different road available than that super highway we've all been on, you're in exactly the right place. Also, as a caveat, this is my first solo episode, so I'm a little uncomfortable. The other episodes where I'm interviewing and talking to people will feel a little better for me, I think. So if anything seems awkward and weird, that's why. So just a little background on myself. I was a civilian engineer for the US Navy for 20 years. I was making progress. I was feeling like I was moving up in my career. I was making great money as a government employee, like not as great as in corporate, but still really good money. But somehow stuff felt out of alignment. I still felt like I was living paycheck to paycheck, which I couldn't quite understand. The job was so stressful that I couldn't even make it through a full Friday anymore. Luckily, I was a manager, and with the government, there was flexibility where as long as I got the work done and got the hours in, I could make a Friday a half day. But I couldn't. Every time I tried to make it through a Friday, unless I was traveling in another location or in a meeting, I just couldn't do it. I was just so burnt out that I had to call it quits before I had like a meltdown, like a toddler, is what it felt like. Weekends were all about recovery. I was exhausted. All I did was like yard work, being by myself, because I needed to recharge those batteries. I was just so exhausted all the time that there was no real social life. It was like trying to pull teeth to get me to do anything, unless I went to visit my friends somewhere. Luckily, I have friends all over the country. And so I was able to like visit and go to different places, but that was the only time that I could commit to being social, was if I left, if I was not at home. Yeah. So it was just like every Sunday, it was like, oh, here we go again. Here we go. Let me see if I can get myself together to be ready to go back to work. And the weird thing is like, I liked my job. I loved the people that I worked with, but it was just like a culmination of those 20 years that I just was like, man, I feel like I've done everything right, but why is everything feeling so wrong? So I feel like probably like for a lot of us, COVID was a place where things started to shift. The government sent us all home and we stayed working from home for months. And interestingly, it was like it gave me space to kind of bring the attention to myself, to my body. Like I was like, wow, this is odd. Like I'm at home every day. I'm exhausted. I wake up exhausted. I think I can't remember now if I had started going to the doctor to be like, what is going on? Like I'm seemingly sleeping well. I am eating well. Now I'm like during COVID, I like took a 2-hour lunch break because I rode the Peloton. I took the dog for a walk. I think I came to my parents' house and went swimming with my nephew. I was teaching him how to swim because he was 3, I think. So it was like there was so much activity and all of this good stuff that was happening. And still, I was feeling so tired. Like I even tried going vegan for quite some time just because I'd started listening to podcasts and I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that might work for me. And that's interesting. Let me look into this a little bit more. And I feel like podcasts, funnily enough, and maybe this is why I'm starting this YouTube channel and podcasts because they impacted me so much. Is it like turned on that little curiosity meter, right? Like it was so easy to learn new things, get different perspectives without it feeling like I was studying, like I was doing research. It was just me walking the dog, listening to somebody tell their story, talk about the book they wrote, talk about what they were doing, right? Like it was just like, oh, I wonder if that would work for me. So I went plant-based. That didn't make a significant difference for me like I had really hoped. I, was doing the workouts. I added strength training, not just cardio, because I do love me some cardio, especially on the Peloton. It was really fun. But then they added those strength training classes. So I started that and just nothing still felt like it was really making that much of a difference. But through the podcasts, I found Emily Fletcher, who is the founder of Ziva Meditation. It is an online, very simple and straightforward meditation course. It was the first time when I heard about meditation where it wasn't like the mindfulness that we see in all the different apps where it's like, you must still your thoughts, right? Like it was just like, no, we're just going to let the brain, you can't shut down the brain. You're just going to let the thoughts happen. And that was the first time, excuse me, through Emily's program that I was able to start meditating. And slowly by slowly, because that is one thing that I've noticed for myself is that I never have that huge response. My body isn't like, wow, let's have this huge, amazing thing happen. It's always very minute. It's subtle, which can be so frustrating because you hear about all of these stories about how meditation changed my life, this, that, and the other thing, changing to eating only plant-based completely changed my life. I have all this energy, this, that, and the other thing. So that was one thing that throughout this whole process, I had to be gentle with myself, that it was never something that was going to change things immediately, which was frustrating. But also was a really great lesson of you got to give things time, right? I had 20 years of working in what I thought was something that was in alignment with myself. And yet it was sapping me of energy. So that is many, many years of stress to kind of start to clear out of your system. So, right, the stress started to come down, more and more curiosity, but also the volume on the frustration got louder, which was not something I expected, right? In the stillness, in being quiet with myself, I think the signal got a little louder that, hey, maybe what you're doing is out of alignment with who you are now, what you really would love to be, your impact on the world. And right, it was just a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. The first thing I noticed with the meditation was that I didn't need to have that glass of wine after work, which had turned into almost every day. And so that felt like a huge, little signpost. Hey, there's something happening here. So I dove in a little deeper. I did Emily's Moving into Mastery course. I did a mastermind. And the more I sat in my own stillness, the more the frustration became louder and just the knowing that something had to change, right? Up to that point, I had been seeing my career as a straight line of moving from one job to the next job that should be a little higher, that should be a little higher, that should be a little higher. And then I felt like I had gotten stuck. And I was like, all of this feeling sticky, icky, yucky, right? So, but I was in that place of wanting to be so sure of what I'm going to do next, because I always had up to that point. I, at one point, got my second master's degree because I was like, well, something doesn't feel right. Maybe learning something new, because I do love to learn. And that is one of the things I feel like as with having an engineering background is you've learned how to learn. And learning is fun because it stimulates the brain. So I got another master's degree from the Naval Postgraduate School because that sounded really cool. But then I never applied that into my job. And I was like, well, now what? So I went into a mastermind, the meditation mastermind, to get clear on what I should do next. Kind of imagined I'd go get another master's degree, maybe even a PhD. I thought it was going to have something to do with sustainable energy, maybe regenerative building, something that felt like it was helping the earth rather than being a little extractive, which, working for the military can be that way, especially in this day and age where it just feels like there's always something rather than like building and growing. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my cat. He's running around like a maniac. Of course. So that was kind of one of the big things that I kept looking for, that certainty for what I imagined was kind of like maybe a little veering off from my current career, but not that different. But over the course of like a year and a half, the only thing I was sure of was that I had to leave. I had no idea what else to do, but like the stress, my body, like I knew that I would end up with real chronic disease if I didn't do something. So I decided to leave. I didn't know what I was going to do next. I just knew that I had to go. So I gave everybody 4 months notice. And then in October 2023, I left. Gut feeling, I did not have a plan. I just knew I needed rest. And of course, as you would imagine, some of the anxiety went up, not down. But we'll talk about that separately. In another episode, I'll get into more details about the steps I took to feel safe in this transition, but how it didn't really work because I didn't have a plan. It was just all based off of gut feeling without having sort of a box around it with steps and really thinking through what I was doing. And then the one positive thing about all of this is ever since then, I've been following curiosity. You hear something over and over again, you're like, that's interesting. I keep hearing about Reiki. So I took a Reiki class. I took a sound healing course, 2 of them actually, because I was like, maybe Reiki and sound healing is my thing, because it felt like magic and fun. And I was like, I've spent so much time in the 3D world. Maybe I'll do some magic, right? Then I did animal communication because I've always wanted to talk to animals ever since I was a little kid. And it was just following what was curious, right? Kind of almost giving my body and my brain a break. But of course, then me being an engineer, I was like, well, I love this stuff, so I must turn Reiki into a business. But I don't know how to be an entrepreneur. And also in my mind, it meant to be an entrepreneur and having your own business meant that you had to work 100 hours a week, work yourself to the bone, at least to get things started. And of course, that was incongruous, right? That's what my life had been like working for the Navy. And this was on me, right? I gave my full worth, my full identity was in the career. I always put it first. I put the work first over family, friends, romantic relationships. Forget it, right? So I was like, well, I want to build a business, but I don't want to go back to where I was. So how do I do that? So it was a lot of push and pull. Also going from engineer to Reiki practitioner. It was like I had thrown this identity of engineer completely out the window, baby with the bathwater, right? And so I took myself over here to the realm of magic and energy. And so, of course, right? This part of me is still true, even though it took me a year and a half to remember that this part of me is still true and valuable. So I started slowly making my way back to the center, to finding all of me. Because here as an engineer, I'd thrown away all of this whimsical animal, all of this healing kind of energy. So now I had to find my way back. And I did that in a very scenic route way. And why I want to have this podcast and to talk to people, because we all are on our own scenic route. None of it is really a detour, right? Sometimes it feels that way, that we took a couple steps back, but there's always something super interesting to learn and you take that with you, right? It's like you take what is valuable and on to the next step and you leave the rest behind, because can be things that it's just, you know what, that's not serving me anymore. I'm going to take only this part with me. Sometimes you throw too much away and you kind of have to reach back in time and be like, yeah, let me grab that part of me and take it with me. So I did Amber Duggar's Profit for Keeps coaching certification program, because money has been a real big stressor, as I said at the start of the episode, to me. And I was like, oh, yes, let me empower women to be in control of their money, right? Or not even be in control of their money, to feel like it's in partnership. Because money is energy, just like everything else, right? So like, let's get ourselves moving in the same direction. Let's build intentionally. Let's build our businesses intentionally. So we're supporting the life we want to live, not that our life is in support of the business or your job or whatever it is. So then I realized I'm not a coach. I need some space holding techniques. So I signed up for Layla Martin's VITA coaching certification that is sex, love, and relationships, because there's a lot of stuff that can come up when you're talking about your money stories. And then I finally realized, wow, I could really use some help on this business thing. Like, it's time for me to get out of my own way and ask for help. And so now I'm working my way through a business coaching program because I realized I love the coaching piece, the business, social media, all of that feels so awkward and strange to me. I was like, there's a reason people need coaches, right? And I need one too. I need somebody to help me do this step, because sometimes you do need that, like 1, 2, 3, the steps to do. It's to keep yourself moving forward, even as you're taking the scenic route through your life, because that's the whole point, right? Our lives are the journey. And I know for myself as an engineer, I've been so focused on the end result, the outcome, that you forget to enjoy the whole journey. And that's the thing that I've been learning. So all of this to say that as I'm building my coaching business now, I've realized that the Reiki, the sound healing, the animal communication, all of it has helped me kind of release that old stress. It has brought me back to my center. It has given me the skills and like reawakened that gift of non-judgmental, safe space, not putting your ideas onto other people, right? Like that's one of the superpowers of a coach, right? Is like you are here to empower your clients. So holding yourself true to yourself, but also leaving it open to the reality and this person's individual experience. I don't think I would have been able to do that based off of my old training, where it almost used to be that there is one way or the highway, or the one way is the highway, right? Rather than the more I learn, and I learned this actually in my Navy career, is that my way is not the only way. Most of the time when I assume something, I am completely wrong. And that kind of made it clear to me that like there are so many different possibilities and I cannot possibly know all the answers, which can feel scary. And also, like, it opens up the possibilities for endless, right? Like endless possibilities. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to show in this podcast program, YouTube channel, is like how many possibilities there are out here, right? Like all of us have our own journey. All of it is right. All of it is magical. And I'm just hoping that maybe there'll be a little kind of like the podcasts I listened to back in COVID time and have continued to listen to, that, you know, you take the little bits that resonate with you and you run with them. Like we all have our path to take. We all have our magic to share with the universe, like with the people in our lives. And I just can't wait to hear what all of you do. Yeah. So this is going to be a mix of me doing a solo, like little teaching episode with interviews with people I know who are close, maybe eventually not so close, but who have like that amazing pivot story that like they were on what seemed like the super highway of life, that either their culture, their education, their families said, this is the correct way. And something happens to like be like, wait a second, is this the right way for me? So that is what I'm looking forward to sharing with all of you, and sharing all of my amazing friends and all of the cool things that they are doing in their lives, because it's when you sometimes stop to think about and look around at the people around you, you're like, how did I get surrounded by all these amazing people? So I'm very much looking forward to sharing my story, my learnings. Hopefully, maybe there's something there that will help you on your path, whether it's realizing how you want to live your life, staying in your job, leaving your job, creating your own business, any of that, or just like, wow, they're doing some really cool stuff. Let me learn more from them, right? So I am really looking forward to learning with us, sharing with us, and yeah, I can't wait. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your podcasts to get all the episodes. I'm aiming to go out on a Saturday or go live on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then we will post the podcasts. It might not always align that way just based off of people's time zones, etc. But we should be weekly. And you can find me at victoria.steward.coach on Instagram or Victoria Steward Coaching on LinkedIn or on my website, victoria-steward.com. And see you on the Scenic Route. Can't wait to grow with you.